Hello, my friend, and welcome to Wisdom Trek. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. Thank you for joining us for our 5-day-per-week wisdom and legacy building podcast. This is day 645 of our trek, and time for a 3-minute mini trek called Wisdom Unplugged. Except for the fact that we're changing that. And today we are taking a break from our normal Wisdom Trek nugget to update you and chronicle a major life event that will change life for me for several months to come. In fact, I would say that it will certainly impact me for the remainder of my life. It is my hope and my prayer that as I share with you, that will also positively impact your life as well. I have often said we must accept and live life as it truly is, not as we wish it to be. I guess I also must practice what I preach. So for the next several Tuesdays and Thursday Wisdom Nugget episodes, we will look at life lessons learned the hard way. First, to all my faithful readers and regular listeners to my Wisdom Trek podcast and journal, I want to apologize for the delay in episodes over the past couple of days. I will get caught up with all the days and get back on schedule as soon as feasible. 2017 is turning out to be a year of life-changing and very challenging moments for the Chamberlain family. As I have mentioned in several podcasts and weekly newsletters previously, on April 15th, our granddaughter Hazel was diagnosed with leukemia. That has been a life-altering event for the entire family, and her path to recovery is a 2-year-long process, with the potential for many twists and turns in this process. We are already realizing this, as her immune system has been too low this past month for a normal treatment regimen. I will keep you posted on her progress on the intro comments to our podcast as they do become available. This past weekend, yet another life-altering event took place. Here is the beginning of my story that starts this past Saturday. I do enjoy working outside on the weekends, and this past Saturday was no different. The storms of last week brought down a sizable limb near our house, and on Saturday, I was in the process of clearing it and cutting it up as firewood. I had previously asked my brother to help me cut another limb from a tree in front of our house that was growing over our front porch. When Jack and his grown son Rob returned from their work, they came over to assist. While I strive to be safe when using power tools, I did not fully grasp the dangers that were inherent in mixing the combination of a large chainsaw, an extension ladder, a fairly sizable tree limb, and a cement walkway. As my mind has flashed back dozens of times to the events of this past Saturday, the foolishness of my task is now so evident. I felt that 2 grown men steadily holding a ladder would provide the platform needed to remove the limb safely. It was not a large limb, only about 4 inches in diameter, but it turned out to be much longer than I had realized. I climbed the ladder with the chainsaw to a secure footing height of about 10 feet and began to cut the limb off. We were nearly through the limb when it seized the chainsaw blade and it became wedged in place. Jack pulled the limb to the side while I freed the chainsaw and made the final small cut. None of us realized that when I finished the cut, that the tension on the tree limb would kick the chainsaw backward, propelling me and the chainsaw away from the ladder. Although it is difficult to remember all the details as it happened pretty fast, I do remember that I kept the chainsaw away from my body as I rotated to my left. I dropped the chainsaw safely away from myself, Jack, and Rob as I rotated to my left side and my body was parallel to the ground. But there's also a cement walkway that extends from the front of our house right underneath my hip when I made contact with the ground. While I rolled onto the grass and on my bottom, I propped myself up to a partially seated position with my hands behind me. I realized that my left leg was at an unusual angle twisted inwardly. While the initial pain was not too severe, as I tried to move my leg, I realized that something was not right. I calmly mentioned to Jack and Rob that I thought something probably was broken and asked Jack to call 911 while Rob helped to steady my back in the semi-seated position. Paula's mom was outside walking at the time. While fortunately she did not witness the accident, we asked her to go inside and let Paula know. Of course, Paula came running outside, and she was filled with the emotions of concern, fear, and possibly a bit of anger. As I tried to be positive about all situations in life, I expressed that it could possibly be a dislocated hip and not anything too serious. Although being a realist, I realized in my heart that something was fractured. The local volunteer fire department EMTs arrived, and within a few minutes they assessed the situation. Since I had fallen from such a height, even though I did not have any head, neck, or back symptoms, after checking me over, they wisely placed a neck collar on me and placed me on a backboard before transporting me to the local hospital. With every move of my body, it was sinking in that there was potential for a serious injury. Since I desire to keep these episodes short, I will continue on my story the next Wisdom Nugget episodes, which I hope to publish every Tuesday and Thursday once I get caught up with the episodes that were delayed. I'm looking at this challenging time as life lessons learned the hard way. Let me know if you have any feedback on how my story has helped you, and feel free to share lessons that you learned the hard way. The lesson from today's episodes that I learned was: only use a chainsaw when both feet are firmly planted on the ground, and only with the proper safety equipment. Your life is valuable. Invest in it. There are so many lessons that we can learn from every event of life. As you will learn in subsequent episodes, as this story is now being created, we are so thankful for God's abundant protection during this time. My injuries could have been much worse. I suffered no back, neck, or head injuries at all. Jack and Rob were both protected during this time. We are so thankful for the trained volunteers that took me to a very good medical facility, which is located less than 10 minutes from our home. As Psalms chapter 18 verse 30 says, God's way is perfect. All the Lord's promises prove true. He is a shield for all those who look to Him for protection. And that's a wrap for today's Wisdom Unplugged. Join us for more lessons learned the hard way in subsequent episodes. And just as you enjoy these nuggets of wisdom, please encourage your family and friends to join us, and then come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. If you'd like to listen to any of the past treks or read the Wisdom Journal, they are available at wisdom-trek.com. And thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, I am your friend, as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal each day. And as we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and then leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and then create a great day every day. See you tomorrow for Wisdom Wednesday.